The wind was merciless that night, howling through the narrow streets of the city like a lonely ghost. Most people hurried past with collars raised and heads bowed, eager to get home, to warmth, to comfort. But one woman stopped. She always did. Her name was Claire. 38 years old, a schoolteacher, widow, no children, unless you count the 32 kids she taught every day in her classroom, whose names and dreams she carried in her heart like sacred keepsakes. Claire had always believed that kindness could change the world, even if just a little. So when she saw him, curled up against the brick wall of a pharmacy, trembling under a tattered coat with holes in it, she couldn't just walk past. His hands were clenched into fists, not out of anger but to protect what little warmth he had left. His beard was overgrown, silver-streaked, and his eyes, half-closed, fluttered open as she crouched down beside him. "Sir," she said gently. "Can I get you something warm?" He didn't answer. Just looked at her, weary and exhausted. She got up and walked briskly into the store. 5 minutes later, she emerged with a thick, gray fleece blanket, still warm from being inside. Kneeling again, she wrapped it around his shoulders. His body stiffened, then slowly sank into the warmth like a child into his mother's arms. "Thank you," he whispered, barely audible. Claire gave a small smile. "Do you have somewhere to go?" He shook his head. "Used to. Not anymore." Something in his voice, in the way he said it, not bitter, not resentful, just heartbreakingly resigned, made her pause. She sat down on the sidewalk beside him, ignoring the stares of passers-by. "My name's Claire," she offered. He hesitated, then said, "David." They sat in silence for a moment, the kind that stretches not uncomfortably but like a bridge between two people who've never met but somehow understand each other. "I used to be someone," he said finally, voice raw. "I had a house. A family. A job. I was a music teacher." Claire's breath caught. "So was I. Still am." He looked at her then, really looked, his eyes now fully open. "Is that right?" And that was how the story began, on a cold sidewalk, between a woman with a warm heart and a man who had almost forgotten he had one. David talked slowly at first, like someone trying to remember a language he hadn't spoken in years. He told her about his wife, Mary Ann, who died of cancer 5 years ago. About his son, Jake, who got caught up with the wrong crowd and disappeared. About the bottle he turned to when grief became too heavy to carry alone. "I thought I could drown the pain," he said. "Didn't know it would drown me too." He lost his job after missing too many days. Then the apartment. Then the car. He tried to stay with friends, but shame kept him from asking twice. The streets became a strange kind of home. Not safe. Not warm. But familiar. Claire listened without judgment, tears sliding silently down her face. "Why are you telling me all this?" she asked softly. He gave a broken smile. "Because you're the first person who's asked in a long time." They talked until midnight, and when Claire stood up, she looked at him with the kind of determination usually reserved for great causes. "You're coming with me," she said. He tried to protest. "I can't, I'm not." "David," she interrupted, "you are still someone. You've just forgotten." She took him to a shelter that night, paid for a room, and left her number with the front desk. "You call me tomorrow. We're going to find your way back." He called. Every day. And every day, Claire picked up. Over the weeks that followed, David began to change. He shaved, cut his hair, attended counseling, and started helping out at the shelter's music program. Claire helped him fill out job applications, rewrite his resume, and even reconnected him with a former colleague who ran a local music store. One crisp morning, David stood in front of a small classroom, a borrowed guitar in hand, teaching 3 young kids the basics of chords. His hands trembled at first, not from the cold, but from nerves. But when he looked up and saw Claire watching through the glass, smiling, something steadied in him. Weeks turned to months. David found part-time work at the store, then a room in a shared apartment. He played at local open mic nights. He wrote letters to his son, not knowing if they'd ever be read. And then, one afternoon, he got a call. "Dad." It was Jake. They met at a park bench near the river. The hug they shared was tentative at first, then fierce, years of regret and longing washing away in a single embrace. Claire watched from a distance, tears in her eyes again. A year after that winter night, David stood in front of Claire's classroom, playing guitar for her students during a guest lesson. The children clapped, laughed, and asked questions. When they left, Claire stayed behind, alone in the room with him. "I don't know how to thank you," he said. "You already have," she said. "You remembered who you were." "No," he corrected her, "I became who I was meant to be." Claire smiled. And all it took was a blanket. The camera fades out on their warm laughter, the quiet strumming of a guitar, and the chalkboard bee.